What's really good, you guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So if you watch one of my last videos, and you know that I recently reorganized and decluttered my everyday makeup bag for spring. I'm talking, this bag was exploding. I finally just reorganized it and I'm feeling very inspired to just play in makeup again. So if you watched that video, by the way, if you didn't, I'll link it right up here in the cards, then you know that I have products in this bag that are on two completely different sides of the spectrum. I have no makeup products, and then I also have full glam products, but today, this video is dedicated to my full glam girlies. This quite literally is gonna be my go-to look for spring. So if you guys are into this video and you enjoy it, don't forget to like it, subscribe if you're new here. I would love to have you. And with that being said, let's zoom in and let's get started. To kick things off, I'm gonna go in with some sunscreen. This here is the e.l.f. Whoa Glow. It is a really good dupe for the Supergoop Glow Screen. If you guys haven't tried that, then this pretty much is the same thing. I really just wanna protect my skin. This also acts as a face primer, but you guys know me, I'm a little extra, so if this is like a sunscreen and primer all in one, then I'm gonna double prime. You can see how pretty that glow is on the skin. It is a little extra shiny, so if you wanna stay away from your T-zone, then definitely do that, but because it is a sunscreen, I just kind of put it all over my face. So one thing I want to say about this is if you put too much on your face, it starts to kind of like roll up and pill. So a little bit goes a very long way. The next primer I'm going to go in with is this here by One Size. This is the brand new Secure the Sweat Dry Till Dawn face primer. This is a really good face primer if you want your makeup to stay on and you don't want it to sweat off. I did do a full-blown wear test on this. If you guys haven't seen it, I'll actually link it down below. I filmed a YouTube shorts and I also uploaded it over on Reels, but you pretty much just want to take a dime size amount, warm it up with your fingertips, and then press it in the areas that you want to stay matte throughout the day. This definitely is a primer that you want to put in specific areas, not all over the face, and you don't want to rub, because if you start to rub, it will pill up and it'll look absolutely ridiculous on your face. Another thing about this primer is that once you put it on, you want to wait about 1 minute before you go in with foundation. So because this is a pretty tricky face primer, I'm just gonna take a mirror and look super up close and personal to ensure it's not pilling or rolling up or anything like that. I remember the first time I tried out this primer, it was like a hot mess. It was rolling and it was doing all sorts of things, but there definitely is a learning curve with this product, but it works so good. By the way, another product in my bag is this hand sanitizer by Touchland. I always have to sanitize my hands after using that primer because it just gets really, really weird once it starts to dry up, and I don't really want it to interfere with the rest of my makeup. So the foundation I'm going to use today is this one here by Saint Laurent. This is the All Hours foundation. It's a luminous matte formula and it's really, really pretty on the skin. It covers everything up, but it's so incredibly lightweight. It's definitely been my go-to foundation recently because it is so full coverage. I am taking a little bit onto a mixing palette, and then I'm using this Real Techniques brush. It's a 241, and I'm just going to paint it onto my face. I'm gonna try not to swipe too much. I'm really just gonna press it into the skin because I really don't want to disturb the face primer. As you can see, like, this gives such great coverage. Like, look at that. It's already covering up all of my redness and blemishes, and it's really just, it's everything and more. So here's kind of like a close-up view of my face without foundation and with foundation. I love the way that this side looks. Like, it covered everything up, my blemishes, redness, imperfections, but it doesn't look heavy. And that's what I love most about this product. It really is so versatile, if you ask me. Like, I definitely feel like you can create a really pretty, just natural look with this foundation, or you can layer it on and do something a little bit more glam and a little bit more full coverage. Now that I have foundation done, let's go ahead and get into concealer. I have two different concealers in this bag, the Dior Forever Skin Crack Concealer, but then I also have the LYS Beauty Triple Fix Brightening Concealer. For this video, I will be using this one here by LYS Beauty. The shade I use is LN6. I do really like this one. It feels very lightweight underneath the eyes. I'm only gonna go here, and then I'm gonna go here. I'm not really going to apply too much because I feel like whenever I really cake on the concealer and layer it on, it does crease in this area. So I'm only gonna go in with just a little bit, and I'm also gonna take some here, here, and here. Now, a little trick I like to do whenever it comes to concealers, I like to take a little bit on the back of a mixing palette, because whatever brush I use to buff and blend this out, I'll dip into the mixing palette and I'll actually use this to lightly buff and blend everything out. I just find that this works the best for me personally. I feel like whenever I go in with a brush or let's say a sponge with absolutely no product on it, it really just picks up the product and it doesn't keep it exactly where I want it to stay. So this method just works great for me. So I will definitely say that this concealer is quickly becoming one of my personal favorites, hence why it is in my everyday makeup bag. It's just so pretty and it lays on the skin beautifully without looking too heavy, but it still gives me a decent amount of coverage. For under eye powder, I'm gonna use this here by Laura Mercier. If you guys have not tried this, I really recommend it. It's probably the best loose powder I've used underneath my eyes in a really long time. I am in my 30s now, so I can't necessarily use things that are a little too drying underneath the eyes. And I find that the original version of this is way too drying. It just kind of makes my under eye area look a little old and wrinkly. This one is the complete opposite. I really love that this is infused with hyaluronic acid, so it really helps to hydrate my under eye area while setting everything down and in place. So I'm gonna go in with a little bit of this on a little Amazon puff. I do link these down below in the description. I do have an Amazon storefront as well, so if you guys are ever curious where certain things are from that are from Amazon, then just check that out. But you can definitely see that it just kind of, it sets and it looks so incredibly smooth, you know? I don't necessarily bake with this. I really just take the powder puff and I push it into the skin so that way the concealer fully absorbs it and sets it into place. So this side is with powder, without powder. I definitely feel like it makes such a huge difference. Just gonna go in and press. Again, I'm not baking because I just feel like I'm at the age where I just can't bake like I used to in my 20s anymore. So I just take the powder and really, really press it into the skin. And it looks so pretty. Girl. I am gonna take a little bit more of that powder on a powder puff and then I'm gonna use it to set like my chin area, pretty much my entire T-zone, which is where I would typically get oily throughout the day. Now, I did talk about this product in one of my previous videos in a Sephora haul. This is actually one of the products I picked up during the spring savings event. This is the Cream Contour and Bronzing Powder Duo by Patrick Ta in the shade She Sculpted. I'm gonna take this to just kind of contour a little bit, but not too much. I definitely feel like cream contouring is one of those things that could age you very, very quickly because it creates like hollows in the face that kind of drag the face down. I know it's a little strange to say because I feel like for so long, especially like in my 20s and stuff, we talked a lot about like cream contouring and how it's gonna like sculpt the face, but I kind of want a plumpier looking face because I feel like it makes me look a lot younger. But I am gonna take a little bit here just to add some depth to my look, and I'm gonna keep it pretty high up on the face. I don't want to put it down too low. So this next step is a step I really can't skip, especially when I want more of like a soft and diffused contour or bronzer. I like to take a brush like this. This one is by Real Techniques. It's the Instapop Cheek Brush. And I'll go in with the HD Skin Palette by Makeup Forever. This was not in my spring makeup bag, but it's something I always keep on hand. So I'm gonna take the brush, dip into a couple of the foundation shades, and I'll tap on the back of my hand and then just lightly press it onto the areas where I put that cream contour, just so that way everything is nice and diffuse. I don't want any harsh edges, and really this brush works perfect for that. So let's talk about blush. I feel like I've been very torn when it comes to blush, but for today's video I'm gonna use the Saie Beauty blush in the shade Rosy. It's a really nice muted pink, and I'm taking some on the back of my hand and I'm gonna pick it up with a beauty sponge. Right now I'm really trying to work on my blush placement because usually whenever I apply this blush I just go straight onto the face, but today I'm wanting to keep my blush pretty high up closest to my eye, and I'm also keeping it pretty high up on my cheek too, because usually I feel like my blush is like all the way down here, because what I'll do is I'll just like smile, put it on the apples of my cheeks, and then when my face is not in smiling position, my blush is like all the way down here. So something I'm trying to work on. So you can see I've already done this side off camera, but what I'm doing is I'm taking that same puff and I'm dipping into my Laura Mercier powder, and I'm essentially just gonna reset underneath the eyes and kind of just like the top of the blush in the front, just so that way it's not super shiny. I want it to remain dewy, but I don't want to look oily in my T-zone. So I'm gonna take it like right in this area. You can see when I turn my face, it still has a good amount of shine, but I just don't want it to be shiny here, because I feel like that kind of accentuates texture and pores and stuff. Now I'm just gonna go in with the Kosas Cloud Set powder. I'm using the shade Cushiony, but I definitely feel like the shade range is very forgiving because this powder is so thin and lightweight in consistency. It doesn't really add like additional coverage. It's really just meant to tone down the shine and just set everything in place. You can definitely see like I'm going over the blush, but it still has a really pretty shine and dew to it. I love it. One thing I am gonna do is I'm gonna bounce back into the Cream Powder and Bronzing Duo by Patrick Ta, and I'm just lightly going to bronze up the skin. You can definitely see there's a huge difference when you bronze. Like this is a lot more warm, whereas this side is a little cooler. Sometimes I feel like the cool tones can definitely make you look a little dead. So that's why I always love to bring warmth back into the skin. I'm also gonna take a little bit of that bronzing powder here onto the eye. So I did already do my eyebrows off camera because sometimes I feel like those can be like really boring, and how I do my eyebrows is not the same way that you would do your eyebrows. So let's go ahead and skip to eyeshadow. I did already prime my eyelids, by the way. I use the Rare Beauty Always an Optimist eye primer, which I really love. But for eyeshadow, I'm gonna use the Nudie No. 2 palette, which is a new palette that I recently put in my spring makeup bag. I'm gonna start off with the shade called Bum. It's a really pretty kind of like peachy tone. And I'm dropping stuff, but I'm gonna take this into my crease just to kind of warm it up a little bit. You can definitely see that this eyeshadow palette is just like very pigmented. A little bit goes like a very long way. I'm also gonna kind of like bring the eyeshadow out just because I do wanna look like I have more sun-kissed eyes. I'm probably gonna incorporate more pinks onto my eyes as I normally would, just because it is spring and I love to incorporate like pops of pink during the spring season. Next shade I'm going to take is this one here. It's called Blushing, and I am going to take this majority all over the lid. So I'm going to kind of just tap and press. What I love most about this eyeshadow is that it has kind of like really small, tiny reflex of like pearls or glitter, but it's like not chunky at all. It's the prettiest formula. So I'm going to take this and really just start to tap it all over the eyelid. Do you guys see how pretty that transition is? I definitely think that this is like the perfect palette for spring. I remember last year I could not put this palette down. I literally reached for it every single day. It was crazy. Was it last year or was it when I was pregnant? I think it was when I was pregnant with Atlas. I really didn't do much makeup last year when he was a newborn, to be honest. I really thought I was going to keep this look all matte, but I really want to go in with the shade called Cheeky on a flat brush, and I'm lightly just going to tap a little bit onto my eyelid. I definitely don't want to go too crazy with this, but this is going to add like the prettiest amount of shine. So here's a little close-up of the eyes. I'm literally so obsessed. Like, probably gonna be my go-to palette for spring. Anyways, for eyeliner, I'm gonna use the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the shade Limitless Brown. This is actually a great multi-use pencil. Today I'm gonna use it as an eyeliner, but sometimes I use it as lip liner. I just think the shade of this is gonna go perfect with the eye look I have going on. Plus, I've just been really obsessed with brown eyeliner. The mascara I'm gonna use for today's video is the Tower 28 Make Waves Lengthening and Volumizing Mascara. Definitely one of my favorite mascaras, and it's a mascara I haven't been able to switch off of. I did get the one by Milk during the sale, and I really regret it. I feel like I should have got a backup of the Tower 28 mascara. I did actually end up returning it, but by the time I returned it and figured out I didn't like it, it was a little too late to pick up a backup of this on the 20% discount. So lesson learned, just stick to what you know. I'm also gonna put some here on my lower lashes. So let's go ahead and get into lashes. These are the style of lashes that I always keep in my makeup bag. They're just foolproof. I love to cut them down and create more of an accent lash, but I recently got to trying out the Press on Falsies by Impress. And you guys, I really am that obsessed. I have the style Spiky. I'm only gonna use a total of 4 clusters. So I'm gonna use 2 on this side and 2 on this side. I do have like a little mini short using this, so if you guys wanna check that out, I'll link it down below. But these are so foolproof and so incredibly easy to use. Like, I was shocked. So here is a close-up view of my lashes. I think they look like lash extensions, and they took me like all of 2 minutes to do. They're unreal, but let's move on to the lips. I'm gonna use a Kylie lip kit in the shade Kylie. I'm gonna first take the lip liner and I'm gonna fill in, or no, I'm just gonna line my lips. I'm not gonna fill them in. Then I'm gonna go in with the Coordinating Liquid Lipstick in the shade 808 Kylie. This definitely pulls a lot more pink, but I think it's perfect for spring. So I definitely think this lip combo looks pretty on its own, but I'm gonna go in with a little bit of my lip plumping serum by Makeup by Mario, and I'm gonna put it right in the center. I definitely don't have to, but I am obsessed with blush right now. So I'm gonna go in with the Juvia's Place blush in volume 4, and I'm really gonna focus a little bit more here. And like I said, I'm keeping my blush up a little bit higher on my face because I do want it to look like a little bit more youthful. I'm also gonna take just a little bit more of my loose powder and kind of just bring this color down and blend it into my blush. So one of the last and final things I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with this highlight palette here by Dior. I'm gonna take that pink shade, and instead of putting it like right in this area, I'm actually gonna put it a little further back just to act as more of a blush topper. Sometimes I feel like when I put my highlight right here, it really accentuates the pores and texture. So I'm just going to take it right in this area, and you only really need like a little bit. And this is just gonna give that shine and that dew. Whatever I have left, I'm just gonna put it on my nose. All right, you guys, I went ahead and zoomed you out. I did go in with some of the Milk Hydro Grip Set and Refresh Spray. If you want to know why my face is a little shinier than it was before I zoomed out, that is why. It still has to dry down, but I am really obsessed with this look. I think it looks really pretty. Probably my favorite look I filmed on my channel this year so far. I feel like whenever I look back on my old videos, I always see me just kind of like putting on makeup and makeup and makeup, and I don't really have a rhyme or reason. I feel like now in my 30s, I am trying to create a look that is a little bit more strategic. I'm very particular with where I'm placing product and stuff like that, and I really love it. I feel like the liner, it's smoked out, it's not too much. I feel like the foundation, it's pretty, it's effortless. The lips, you have that contour, you have that pop of pink. Perfect for spring. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you want me to film another look using the products that I put in my everyday makeup bag for spring, let me know down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. It would mean a whole lot to me. And with that being said, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, I'll be sure to catch you guys all in the next one. Deuces.